What's something that you're ashamed to admit you like? Diners, drive-ins and dives. Love it. Love everything about it. During COVID lockdown, it made me feel like things were normal. Depending on who is asking, Magic the Gathering. It seems like when talking to other people in my demographic I am only supposed to talk about investing and whiskey, but I want to talk about a child's trading card game. It's a good game, and more nerdy than Childish I'd say. Sorta like D&D. It's also addictive as heck, so slap a simple deck in their hands and see how they like it after a round or two. Fanfiction. I read at least half an hour worth a day, but often more. I can crush a 100k word fic in a day. Easy. It's replaced books for me, which makes it awkward when I say I love to read and can't name a whole lot of books. It's just comforting. I know what I'm getting into and it's usually worth my time to me. It's so disappointing buying a book based on a tiny blurb and then not getting into it. The embarrassment comes mostly from the fact that most people assume it's just all erotica. While I don't mind reading sex scenes, I tend to skim them sometimes, and I'm way more into the build up and the plot. It's not something I'm getting off to at all. Yeah, fanfiction gets a bad rap online, but man, there are so many top tier fics. Other than it being free, the best part is that there's all sorts of fics for different moods. The one thing I don't like is how long it takes to write. I'm so busy with school that it takes forever to write, lol. Still worth it in the end. Kind of the opposite, but once my wife tried to accuse me of being a closeted Adele fan. I told her I'm not closeted, that woman can sing. Bluey. I'm a grown bud woman, but I will sit and watch that with, or without, my son. My oldest went through the K-Lao phase, but my youngest is Bluey prime viewership, and oh my god, is life better this way. I'm a guy that loves Sailor Moon. I've been judged and labeled weird by other women for liking it, so I keep it to myself in real life. I love the band Fall Out Boy. They were my muse in 2007, but every time I mention them, even to fans of pop punk music, I feel like I need to apologize for liking Fall Out Boy. There is a negative stigma about the band that is super undeserved. I love Fall Out Boy too. Taylor Swift. I'm a 25-year-old dude who can't stand the forwardness and superficial music of most pop artists. I'm big into classical music. I grew up listening to classic rock and oldies. Yet ever since I heard Love Story 13 years ago I've been a huge Swiftie. Not a big fan of Reputation, but I can't get enough of the rest of her albums. 33-year-old male here, and I adore Taylor Swift. Supremely talented, and never disappoints me with new material. I think some people put her in the category of female pop star and disregard her, but once you know, you absolutely know. I have a lot of old people hobbies, like model trains, model plastic kits of everything, World War II stuff, mainly the history, the weapons, etc. not Heil Hitler sympathizer crap. I find the model kits require concentration and you have to focus on it. It's my version of meditation, much like bonsai trees or something. I also would rather watch certain cartoons versus reality shows or dramas. I use TV to disconnect from the world, not get all anxiety drama over actors playing a character. I'm in my 30s and single and afraid to bring it up during dating, lol. I have normal interests as well, so those are brought up, but these are kinda closet stuff. Don't be ashamed. I started with Lego sets and graduated to 1/24 scale houses. I'm 30 and single as well, but I figure if some guy thinks it's weird, at least I have my tiny houses to calm my mind, lol. Beasters. I watched both seasons and discussed it with 2 co-workers this week after we were all done with season 2. All dudes, all of us around 40-yo. The Twilight Saga. The story is cringe, sure, but the soundtrack is so good. The books were what I binge read during summer vacation in high school. They just put up the movies on Netflix, and you bet your butt I watched them like I was a teenager again. Say what you want about the movies, but the baseball scene with that music was ace. Anime. As a kid I was bullied for liking it. To this day, even though it's more acceptable now, no one besides my so knows I watch it. Maybe I just don't care too much about people's opinion, but people that bully you because you like anime are just brain dead. The reality is people will always find a reason to bully you. It's not anime, they are just empty inside. My Hero Academia. Freaking hate the fan base. Never really told anyone I liked it cause I don't want to be associated with them. Exactly how I feel about Rick and Morty. TikTok fills the void that Vine left behind, and there is actually some interesting and funny content once you get past the cringe and dances. TikTok has some hilarious videos and some wonderful people. Just don't, for the love of God, ever look at the comments. Bigger girls. Took me a while to realize that I just prefer my girls with curves, then took me a bit to be openly public about it. To quote my slightly drunk self talking to my plus size bisexual ex, I like petite girls until I found out how good it feels to show my face in a pair of DDs. I love historical romance novels. I've read over 300. The definition of guilty pleasure. I never mention reading when I tell people my hobbies, because they always ask what I read and I just respond with trash. Teen Titans Go over original Titans. I'm nearly middle-aged. It cracks me up, especially when they start teaching kids about incredibly boring adult topics like rental properties or the gold standard. BDSM. I've heard people claim the people who like it are into rape. 1. It's consensual. 2. I do not get turned on by someone desperately begging for help while they are being forced into something horrible that will traumatize them and scare them for eternity. I'm a rape survivor and I like playing with power. Dreams Manhunt vids. Don't like him, but the interactions between him and his friends, besides when he's being a douche, is entertaining, especially when it's 1-on-4 battle. I'm a guy. I like watching rom-coms and playing hidden object games. It's a calming change of pace from those superhero movies and shooter games. Crap, I've been playing hidden object games since before they were popular. It started with me being a kid and doing the hidden objects in the highlight magazines. Pop. Most people hated BC of the toxic parts of the fanbase, but there are actually normal people in the community or just silent enjoyers. I didn't like pop until a friend of mine introduced me to it. It just didn't seem like my thing from what I had seen. I can totally see why someone likes the music, but it's still something I think I'd have to let grow on me. Still, it had some really cool lyrical rhythm that I enjoyed. I think it was Blackpink, but I could be wrong. Fake blonde hair. I guess it's just the desired look. Goes way back. Tall, dark, handsome men. Bleach blonde, big hair women. That's funny because when I was growing up all the hot girls dyed their hair black. Katy Perry, Megan Fox, etc. So I always loved unnatural black hair on women. Black veil brides. They're actually freaking awesome, and it seems like it's some kind of trend to hate them, but they're actually a decent band and the musicianship is really good. It's not my favorite band ever, not even close, but I like them. There is a lot of music that I don't like, but I do understand that not everything was made for me. If someone likes the band and the music they make, then good for them. They are getting what they want out of it. This is kind of off topic, but the only time I get really annoyed by music I don't like is when I cannot get away from it. Smash Mouth was everywhere for a while and I hated it. The same with Three Doors Down while I was in the military. It doesn't mean they are bad bands or that their fans should be looked down on. It just means I didn't enjoy it. Like what you like. Those who judge you for it are the ones with the problem. Nothing. Life's better when you're unapologetically you. I'm a 40-year-old dude. Meghan Trainor freaking slaps. Pastel colors are my jam and make up the majority of my wardrobe. I spent an ungodly sum on a chance to play with otters at the local aquarium. There's nothing like getting beat up as a kid in the 80s for the sin of liking Marvel comics to put pop culture whims into perspective. I like your outlook. I love the Wiggles. I am a 28-year-old nanny to 4 children and the youngest is starting to lose interest in the Wiggles and I'm devastated. I walk around listening to their songs on Spotify without the kids. I just love the Wiggles. Eminem, Logic, Hudson, and NF. Every time I mention it anywhere I get 50k people saying wow, you are so white or edgy white kid from the suburbs. Like, yes I am, but I just like that they rap fast. Clever rhymes are also a bonus. Eminem is super talented and it shows. I've got no problem admitting I like his stuff. If people want to make it a race thing they can frick off. Several things really. Going back to watch compilations of commercials I remember from my childhood. It sounds really weird and I have never told anyone. I really enjoy spending my weeknights watching The King of Queens as it's one of my favorite sitcoms. And it's usually on TV, so I will watch it almost every weeknight. And on some days, usually Fridays, I'll drink alone while watching it. Watching old videos from my childhood just to take a nostalgia trip. It can really be anything really, like old Lego stop motion films. Apparently a lot of these are symptoms of anxiety, not the content necessarily, but going back to watch the same things over and over to achieve comfort. I spent 3 hours watching the promo videos for fast food places in the 80s and 90s. It led me down a rabbit hole of tragically memorable fast food raps. It was glorious. Nerf guns. I act unashamed, but in reality I hate the judgment I get for it. I just think they're cool, you know? Also, I have bad childhood trauma related to gun violence. I like guns. I have shot them before as an adult and had fun doing so, but I don't want to own them. I don't want them in my home. Nerf guns offer me a safe and fun way to just plink little targets, and I have fun taking them apart, figuring out how they work, and putting them back together, and they're way cheaper than airsoft or paintball. My dad buys me, my brother and himself Nerf or plastic dart guns, the red ones that stick to windows, every Christmas still to this day, and have our annual war. I'm 36, my brother is 31. I'm a 23-year-old lesbian who recently became obsessed with Don Draper of Mad Men. He's such a horrible man, my friends say. This is so out of character for you. And I know it's true, but even I am not immune to John Hamm. Submissive women. Not your usual small girl who likes being taken advantage of. No, I love big hunks of meat. Strong muscular women who look like they'd kick your shins in and look hot while doing it. Slap a collar and leash on her. Tie her arms behind her back. And I would get frisky on sight. Clothes or not. As a big submissive girl, this made me feel great. I've thought about making a confession bear about this. Big Bang Theory. I've been making fun of it for 10 years, then first started watching it during the pandemic. It's hilarious. Yes, some of it is dumb and problematic, but it's got some really good moments. And it has that same comfort thing that The Office has for some reason. It declined in quality the longer it went on, but there were some great moments. Some of the episodes still make me burst out laughing, and some of the emotional moments are surprisingly effective as well. The Sims 3. I'm 36. I bought the laptop I did so that it would run better. I have all the expansions and most of the stuff packs. They're cheap now since 4 came out, and I have custom content and mods. Not the extent some people have though. It satisfies my shopping desire, my decorating desire, and my desire to have different lives. I just feel a little ashamed to say it out loud. Boost. I'm a 29-year-old who loves Boost. It's basically Nesquik. But being a 29-year-old dude with a fridge full of Boost screams I'm some kind of sick predator. My Little Pony. I see it as one of the greats in modern animated shows. However, due to the fandom making such a name for itself, even outside of the fandom, because of the sexualizing of characters, and being generally weird, I never felt comfortable actively expressing my love for it. Then there are also people who see the show as something for kids and immature. Meanwhile, no one bats an eye at an adult watching Adventure Time. The show is really good and has a lot of wholesome messages. I really love it, but I'm just ashamed of sharing that love. It really sucks that the fandom was so weird, because people associated that view with the show, and that's just so not fair. I get judged a lot for listening to music from Slipknot and Metallica. Two very different sounds, but I love music from both bands. Also probably because I'm black, it's seen as weird anti-black. Getting mad at someone and feeling justified in being mean to them. I hate that. I feel like I'm enjoying it in the moment because afterwards I feel terrible. I'm trying very hard to change it, but I still slip up sometimes. And I'm usually still just rearing for a fight, which is not a good way to live. This sounds stupid, but video games. Hear me out. At the college I'm at, let's just say a college that focuses on physical jobs, video games are seen as a waste of time. They know nothing of them. So when someone asks, What do you do for fun? Believe it or not, around here there is a wrong answer, and it's video games. So, I just don't mention it much outside of family and friends. I'll just say I read or watch shows or draw or sing or something. I just can't say video games. I'm not really ashamed of it. People can F off if they think less of anyone for doing stuff they enjoy. I'm a 36-year-old male and love Legos and diamond art. I get a lot of snickers about both. I probably have $2,000 worth of completed Lego sets and several completed diamond arts. There's not many things I find more relaxing than getting a little inebriated and doing either of these activities. I'm starting to have some really weird feelings about liking masculine, older men. Feels weird. Have had exclusive feelings for women my whole life. And now, wham bam, there you go. I don't think I'd ever tell a soul in my real life. If it helps you to understand, I've read that no one is completely straight or gay. Everyone is on a sexual spectrum. You're just branching out with yours. Maybe you're more mature now. Maybe you're just meeting new people you enjoy. Maybe you're just more open to experience than you were. There's nothing wrong with any of it. You do you. I love fanfiction. Despite what people might say, it's a pretty creative medium. There's no need for exposition and presenting the characters and settings because we already know them, so it allows for different types of stories. Want to get the couple together 2 chapters into the story and then relationship angst for 50 chapters? Technically you can. I love reading fanfic because you can have a 35k word story. No need to make it longer. Or a very long story. I also feel like these stories don't always abide by the hero's journey or other normal literary tropes. Normally, in a book, everything that's in the book has a purpose. But in fanfic, you can have a more action story with a break for hurt, comfort or fluff that serves no real purpose except pleasing the fans. You mentioned smut. I love that in a 200-page fanfic, you can have a great story with a great plot, but then when they get together, the story basically turns into erotica for like 15 pages. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.